everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. It's nippy outside, so I'm inside crafting. Today I'm going to make a pumpkin sign. I'm going to use some ribbon and some antique wax. And I got those arrows at the Dollar Tree. I cut off the ends, the tails there. The Cupid tails is what I call them. I could not find the arrows that I wanted. They had so many different shapes. Some are fat, some are galvanized, some are long. So anyway, this is the shape that I want to use here. I'll be using a 3D pumpkin, a round galvanized sign, and a 5-gallon paint stick. So I'm going to paint the arrows with some chalkboard paint, and I got that from the Dollar Tree as well. When I cut the tails off of the arrows here, it cut off some of the jute, so I just had to pull the rest off. And they are stapled in, so some of the staples came out, some didn't. I'm not going to worry about it because that's going to be the back side anyway. I'm going to pull the stickers off and get to painting.
Lost again, going back around, dreaming of a time when I get things right.
I did paint the front, the back, and the sides of all 3 arrows. And then I started working on the pumpkin part. So I just pulled that raffia bow off. There was a lot of glue left behind, so I just used my razor scraper, also from the Dollar Tree. And then I sanded it down just a little bit. There was quite a bit of glue on there. I knew I was going to put a bow, but I didn't know quite how much the bow would hide. So I did go ahead and scrape all that glue off. Now I'm going to take my antique wax and I'm just going to paint the whole pumpkin, and then I'll just wipe it off. And once I got everything wiped down, I took a makeup wipe and I wiped down the 3D parts. So the middle part and the 2 sides there, see how they're raised? I wiped those down with the makeup remover wipe, and it made it lighter because I wanted, some different colors in there, some different textures to make it really look like this pumpkin had stacks in it, or layers, I should say. So yeah, so I'm just going to wipe it on, wipe it off. And like I said, on those 3D pieces, I did use a makeup remover wipe. Can you see here how using that makeup remover made those pieces much lighter than the pieces that didn't get wiped down with the makeup wipe? It just gives it a different color altogether, much lighter. And that's what I was going for. I wanted some different details in there, being that it was a 3D pumpkin. Now I'm just going to remove those little hooks on the backs of this galvanized sign. It's got welded together little loops there. I'm just going to pry them off with my needle nose pliers, and then I'll take a little hammer and hammer down anything that's sticking up so it doesn't poke me. Even though I'm going to be gluing that side down, I didn't want to get cut. So if you do remake this, just, take a little hammer it down just to be on the safe side.
Lost in the shadows of a million stars. Shouldn't they enlighten my near and far? Shouldn't they at all just tell me where you are? Send a prayer if I'm out of.
And then just to get my piece flat, because I wanted a good contact with the glue, I just took my hammer and just hammered down here and there and bent it just to get a good contact, between the wood and that galvanized piece.
Send a little love and I'll make it back. Send me a letter and a bottle of wine, telling me I will.
And then you'll want to just glue that down. Now I used hot glue. If you feel more comfortable, you can use a more permanent glue. I'm pretty sure that this hot glue will stand up, being that I'm not going to put it outside. But if you did want to put it on the porch, I would definitely use E6000 or something like that. And that goes for all the pieces that I'll be gluing today. Now I'm just going to make a simple bow. Like I have said many times in my videos, I am not the best bow maker. I really do need to take some classes. But this is a really simple bow. I'm just going to fold over my ribbon, and then I'll take a shorter piece of ribbon and make the top one a little bit shorter than the bottom one. I'm going to tie it in the middle with some jute, and I'm using the jute that I pulled off of those arrows, so waste not, want not.
Halfway hard, slip away if I come too far. Pick me up when I'm in pieces. Oh, that halfway heart of mine is a rolling stone. Make me roll right home. Halfway hard, halfway hard. Sing to me if I lose my voice. Said a better route if I lose my course. Count on my company and I will come. Save me when I am falling. Save me when I am falling. Save my love when I fall. Baby, I'm stuck with a halfway heart. Slip away.
And then remember those cute little bows I just hauled from the Dollar Tree? I'm going to glue one right to the center of the bow that I made, and it just made it just so much more extra and poofy and cute. I just love it.
Pick me up when I'm in pieces. Oh, that halfway heart of mine is a rolling stone. Make me roll right home. Baby, I'm stuck with a halfway heart. Slip away if I come too far. Pick me up when I'm in pieces. Oh, that halfway heart of mine is a rolling stone. Make me roll right home. Halfway hard.
Those little bows come with a little tie, a foil tie. I just snipped those off just to get some of the bulk off before I glued it down to the center of the bow that I made.
Send a little love, I'll make it back.
And then with the antique wax, I went ahead and stained the 5-gallon paint stick, and then I took some wire cutters and I just snipped off the ends there at an angle to make a semi-point so I can use this as a stake. And you know the little hole on the top of the stem of the pumpkin there? I really thought that my bow was going to cover it, but it didn't. So now I need to camouflage it. So I'm going to take a thumbtack, and on the inside of a trash can, I snipped the pointy part off, and then I glued the head of that thumbtack right to the center of that hole. And now I'm just going to glue the pumpkin itself to the 5-gallon paint stick, leaving about 1.5 to 2 inches on the top of that paint stick. You want it to be sturdy enough to hold up that pumpkin on that stick.
Lost again, going back around.
Now I'm going to write some words on my arrows, and I'm going to take a white chalk writer, also from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to write pumpkins 25 cents on one arrow. And then I'm going to write welcome on another arrow. And then I'm going to write pick your own on another arrow. And then I'll just glue those in the, in the one arrow going one way, one arrow going the other way, one arrow pointing down, kind of like you would see at a real pumpkin patch.
Time when I get things right. Lost in the shadows of a million stars. Shouldn't they enlighten my near and far? Shouldn't they at all just tell me where you are? Send a prayer if I'm out of luck. Send a little love and I'll make it back. Send me a letter and a bottle of wine, telling me I will be fine. Baby, I'm stuck with a halfway heart. Slip away if I come too far. Pick me up when I'm in pieces. Oh, that halfway heart of mine is a rolling stone.
And now I needed something to stick my stake in, my pumpkin stake, right? So I'm going to take this pail that I got from the Dollar Tree and just some scraps of foam that I've had sitting around from packages, and I'm going to glue a piece of floral foam right on top of that, and then I'm going to stick my stake right into that floral foam since it's nice and thin. You can really poke through real easy. So I was going to push my stake in, pull it out, put some glue in there, but I didn't have to. Once I stuck my stake in there, it was pretty sturdy, so I just took some hot glue and just glued around that stake.
Halfway hard, halfway hard. Sing to me.
And then I just added some Spanish moss right to the top of my pail, and this DIY was done.
Set a better route if I lose my course. Count on my company and I will come. Save me when I am falling.
And here it is, all finished, sitting on my table. Welcome. Pumpkins, 25 cents. If only they were that cheap, right? And pick your own. I see how I added some pine cones there and some velvet pumpkins and some bark. It's just so quaint and charming. I love it. Now this would be great for a porch, but it's been so windy, I just don't want to put it out there and have it blow across the street. So I'm just going to keep it probably on my fireplace for now. So anyway, I hope you all liked my DIY today, and thank you all so much for stopping by and spending some time with me. I will talk to you all in my next video. Bye.